beginning. There was a bad vibe, mankind was spoken as a diatribe. It gets worse, it's like a curse, like a percentage of the national purse. We get collected like statuettes while they place the bets. We run around like we got Tourette's. It's a police state, this shit is crazy. And we blame it on the guy in the road, don't taste me. I'm a high school teacher, that's the truth of it. And if I teach the truth, I lose my job and shit. Okay, I quit. Cause I want a lot of kids and get paid for it. I won't be a part of the miseducation of American youth. And that's the goddamn truth. I won't be another fake like Beyonce. A phony diamond on the hands of Jay. Pink Floyd, they proved to be pathetic from the other side of the moon. They keep it copacetic with another brick in the wall. You gotta stand tall, even in the face of the Taj Mahal. They don't want kids with the right brain intelligence. They want a George Orwellian malevolence. It started in Samaria and spread to Babylon. Then to Egypt and the obelisk is known. My grandpa was a 33rd degree Freemason. Then I've been tracing my family history and they've been copy-pasting the human race in. I relinquished my place in. I want no part of this family tree. I'm a bird, yes, but I'm gonna fly free. Fly free. The Statue of Liberty, your name is Sammy Remus. The Babylonian goddess of everything heinous. Hey, Ben Franklin, what you doing with the bodies in your basement? He's in the Hellfire Club, in the catacombs of the Dashwood Club. The Georgian vulture in is the left-hand path that they're tunneling in. The founding fathers are at benevolent as leather dog collars. The aristocracy never meant for us to be free. This misnomer democracy is a lie in the hands of Freemasonry. Fly free, fly free, fly free, 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 fly free, fly free, fly free, 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 fly free. Fly free, fly free, 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 fly free, fly free, fly free, 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 fly free. Fly free, fly free, fly free, 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 fly free.
And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like size leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast. I'll tell them, oh, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, it's the last thing I do. I'm going to get my hands around your throat.
So tell all your friends, this is the end of everything. Too late to repent. We'll pay with the blood of the dead. We will sanctify, purify, rejoice in the sorrow and sing. Hell again, could not carry anymore. So tell all your friends, this is the end of everything. Too late to repent. The wicked will reap what they sow. We will sanctify, purify, rejoice in their sorrow and sing. Hell again, could not carry anymore. Somebody call me.
The noise that you make, or is noise the wrong word? The noise that you make does fit to this weather.
Yeah, I think so. I think noise is the perfect word.
Now, what do you want to reach with this noise? Do you want to spread aggression?
No, not really. Just want to make some sounds that maybe people might not hear the rest of the day.
What is so attractive to making this sound?
It's fun. It's like a little kid with a really big toy.
Okay, it's fun, but it's so loud.
What, are you saying you don't like it?
Yeah, well, I like it.
No, come on. Don't. He's lying to people. He's lying.
Well, no. I like some parts of it, but it's so loud all over. It's constantly loud.
I know. Can you believe it? Yeah.
By the way, I get that this is mine now.
How about $20?
Why don't you just relax a little bit? It's only $20.
What have you found about most of the people that are the street performers?
Well, it's a job like anything else, and they'd probably rather be doing that than washing dishes for somebody. They're very dedicated.
Probably playing spoons rather than washing the spoons.
Well, he doesn't have to wash his spoons because he's so famous now that he has someone else do that for him.
And he's
Spoon Tech. And a man with spoons.
Yes.
And so you just saw this guy and you decided to write a song about him?
Well, he's been around for a while, and actually the song came about from well, it's a long story. Do you guys want to hear it?
Not really.
I don't
Can
want
you sum it up real quick?
I don't want to tell it.
I said
They're good. Yeah, it's European is the one thing, and then the other thing is it's like you have to take a long flight over there, and then you feel sort of stranded, and the food's different, and it's what's European? No, it's great. We love going to Europe. Actually, it's really cool.
Oh, you spent a lot of time at the San Diego Zoo, right?
I've only been there once. It was depressing.
You guys are winding up a European tour. How's that been working out for you?
Really awful, actually. No.
What do you look for in a bowling ball?
I look for really big holes, and we got some good-looking balls here, and
Because these are quite, I guess, as balls would go.
This is a good-looking ball. Sexy, It's kind of marbly. It's silver. Silver's cool.
But it looks like it's got, the holes are too small.
So I'm gonna say screw this. It's good looking, but I don't like it.
What would you?
You can't dance to Soundgarden songs, and you're not likely to go shopping with your girlfriends while listening to Soundgarden material. So
You can dance to Soundgarden songs, but
Yes,
it's
I was gonna say, I
embarrassing.
don't agree with you there.
Meet the new member of Soundgarden.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben Shepherd, the new member of Soundgarden, bass player extraordinaire, tallest member of the band, and the skinniest.
So the bands kind of work together a lot and influence each other?
Well, it's all sort of a managerial type of thing. You know, we all completely hate each other, and you know, all these things are just arranged by like the Seattle Kingpins and cigar chomping people that just usher us around in limousines, and we sort of perform on each other's records.
they get us together during picnics and take photos and release them around. See, they are friends.
Yeah. I don't know why they insist on this unity thing. It's really getting tiring.
Oh, I remember when we used to sit in that grey car park in Brixton. We'd roll a spliff and crack a beer and mingle with the good people we'd meet. Good friends we had, good friends we lost along the way. Hey, in this bright future, we can't forget our past. So dry your tears, I say. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. I said I remember when we used to sit in that grey car park in Brixton. And my mate Bjorn, he wouldn't make the firelight. He'd keep it burning through the night. Oh, we'd sit and smoke all our ganja, of which I'd share with you. Ooh, in this life, it'll fuck ya, but you gotta push on through. Oh yeah, everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright now, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. No woman, no cry. Oh, no woman, no cry. Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
I told that moron not to take out my Tchaikovsky tape. No matter, let's get started. Here we are, Nancy Moon. The last time we left our heroine, she had just joined my esteemed colleagues at level M. We have the soldier who cannot stop talking, a magician with money issues, and a vampire with a checkered past. But there are other teammates she's yet to meet. One in particular might be a little bit shocking for her. I do hope she's not allergic. Back it today, won't you? Like right
Correct. Ooh, yeah. Got a call from an old friend, we used to be real close.
So good. Unexpectedly good. I read this comic book and I wasn't expecting it to be good at all. I was expecting this book to be not very good. I'm stunned by how good it is.
What is it? I'm dying to find out.
When I tell you that this book is good, I want you to understand
What's
that, like,
good? Like, I mean, you thought it's like I go into a movie thinking it sucks, and then it's borderline. I'm like, wow, that was a lot better than I thought, but it's still it's like mid, you know, like.
No, I mean, this is professional. It's better than anything any of the Kings have done.
What?
I'm not even fucking kidding.
Holy crap! Mike
I'm
Barron is
blown away by
there.
it. Yes.
Graham
better,
Nolan's there.
better.
Billy is there. Wow.
Better.
Ethan Van Sciver is there.
Better. I looked at it and I went, there's some ideas I'd like to pull from them.
All right, I got to know. What is it?
It's going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Dino King by Liam Gray. It is way better than anything I've read in a long time.
No way.
John, I'm not even kidding you. This is like superior writing. This is superior storytelling. With a character that's likable. The lead character's lovable, likable. There's violence in it. It's the right length. This is legitimately excellent. I don't even know what to. I'm not fucking with you. I promise you. I'm telling you the truth.
Mods, can anybody out there find a link to Dino King?
Look at this. Look at these black, like,
you
are the engine of the apocalypse. And he's like, no. I mean, it's actually like, you are the engine of the apocalypse is a fucking cool line too. It's just good writing. Here's the link. It is closed, so you couldn't back it anyway.
He needs to reopen this so we can all buy it and check it out.
So I just woke up and I was about to drive to the city and my Discord servers all exploded. And look at this. I'm not sure exactly fully what's happened yet. I think Dino King is sold out. I have no idea how this happened. I'm so fucking grateful. Go see Malin's channel. What's going on Malin's channel? What happened? Look at this.
What happened overnight?
I don't know.
Oh my God, babe.
People are saying John Malin. People are saying Ethan. I don't know what's going on. Ethan liked the book. Ethan loved Dino King. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. Ellie Belly, you got Daddy's tie on. Oh, look, Ellie, we did well. Oh my God, we did it. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone who backed, you guys just changed my life. Thank you so much, right? Thank you so much. Things have been...
as I watch them conspire to blow my world apart. Between the light and the endless night, you will always be in my heart. We fight for love. We fight for love. Fight for love. We fight for love. Somewhere, somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow, someone. Somewhere, somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Comicsgate Commandos number 14. I didn't restart the numbers after Johnny Scab. We're just going to keep going because I'm shameless like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Colonel Carbon Hart. How you doing, Carbon?
Hail, good evening.
Hello.
Good to see
Sorry
you.
I was late. So let's get right into it here because we're kind of on a tight schedule, as they say. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome and please give a big round of applause to Liam Gray. Howdy, Liam. How you doing today?
Blamo, hi, I'm Liam.
Nice to see you, Liam. Thanks for putting the suit on and everything. Wow, amazing.
If I had known we were being Joes, I might have come a little bit differently. Maybe next time. Maybe next time
for sure.
I'll break out an old kit. You know.
Amazing.
Do you have military gear, Liam?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
That's what I like to hear. Just so you know, Liam, I've been having issues with my internet. I've tried to resolve it. So if at a certain point you see that my mouth is moving and then you're not hearing it until later, just so you know, that's something I'm dealing with here.
That's
so
cool. I'm like way up in the mountains and in the middle of nowhere. So sometimes I drop out, but it's been pretty good for the last like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of a sudden I just sort of freeze, then
Totally fine. I just want to let you know if I interrupt you, it's not on purpose. I don't mean to interrupt you at all.
That's fine. Everyone wants to interrupt me. It's half the fun of having on the show.
Dude, thanks for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously you all know Liam is the author of Dino King and also the artist, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Liam. So please explain to me, like, because it says on here there's a couple, like 3 artists, I think it says inside here. So can you let me and the audience know what is the full extent of like everything you've done for this book?
So concept, storyboard, it was digitally worked on by another artist, but that's digital work because I do everything traditional. And there were fixes and shadings done by another artist as well that, are helping me out digital because like I can only take things to a certain point. I was still Dino King's like a book that's like over 2 years old, just so you are aware.
Really?
Yeah. It really came down to things were sort of rough for me with like release schedules and stuff. And I was like, I've got to as you might have seen within the last few days, like it's been I've got like 8 projects I'm working on, because the only way for me making comic books to be sustainable without any sort of network or support that at the time was for me to just sort of release books quickly. And so I was just like maybe getting like $1,000 or so profit after out of 6 months of work. Not viable, but it's all just planning. So I was just rapid succession releases was what I was going for, in the hopes that I'd find a hit. And it came down to I had a big gap in my release schedule, and I was like, I've got to do something, because otherwise, like, I've got nothing to sell for like, several months, and I'm gonna be, have to close the company. And so I cracked out Dino King, which I'd had on the shelf, sort of on the back burner for a very long time, and yeah, we pumped it out, and it did pretty well. It did, like, we sold a couple of hundred in the first wave for the first printing. I printed off 300 copies of that total, and then Blammo, it exploded huge when Ethan got it and read it, and he liked it. And we did the second printing, and it's just gone off the charts. It's been incredible. It's been absolutely incredible.
So I was looking on Fund My Comic and Indiegogo for the campaign. Have you closed them all down at this point?
No. The Conquest Comics Second Chance, Dino King Second Chance. I can send you a link through here.
Please.
It's still going.
Because I bought yours when you came on Ethan's show. I don't know what it was, 3-4 months ago.
Oh wow! Awesome.
So really what it comes down to is, like, I was aware of all the stuff going on, and you came on that show and you showed like so much humility and so much graciousness that I was like, wow, like I'm going to back his book. And I did it that night because I really appreciated the humility that you showed. Like, a lot of people don't really do that very much. And so I was very impressed.
Yeah, I try and balance it. Like, I am grateful for, like, when people, I haven't always had a lot of help to get anywhere, So, like, when someone takes time out of their schedule, their day, especially when people are really busy, to actually help me out, I really appreciate that. Like, I'll do a big goofball act. I'll act like really, like, over the top. Oh, I'm the king of Australian comics, but like that's so much posturing, like, really, if I was just like be honest with people, like I'm just grateful to be able to continue making my art and have this as an avenue. And I want to see comics do well. I want to see people in comics do well. And we wouldn't be able to do that today without all of the backers and the people that do have big channels taking a chance and helping out people that they think have value. And I'm just grateful for that,
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't make great YouTube content, though. You know what I mean? But it's
right. Everybody wants negativity all the time.
Yeah, they want combat.
Yeah, they do.
So Liam,
go ahead.
Let
Sorry.
me ask you, Liam. By the way, it's great to talk to you. Thank you for coming on. Nice to meet you.
No, nice to meet you, man. Been seeing you around.
He backed you on the first campaign. I think he recognized the ginger passion. The fellow ginger passion, he felt it. I backed you on the second campaign, and I'm excited to read the book, of course. Let me just get some details here. What's the plan for closing this, and when are you planning on fulfilling it?
Well, so I don't know if you've popped over to my channel recently or not, but I got video through from just last Friday from it being finished printing at the printers, like it's done. So yeah, Team Liam, I got to get that T-shirt out. But basically, it's done. The book's assembled now. Now all they have to do there is shrink wrap it and then post it to me. And as you guys will know, I shrink wrap all my books just so that there's an extra layer of protection because they've got to go all over the world. Costs a little bit extra, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I did notice that. I got it. I shrink wrapped, and I was like, "Whoa! I've never seen this in a comic book before. Nice." And I knew it was coming from Australia, and I really appreciated that. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And it's just because I've heard from people like, "Oh, hey, my parcel got left out in the rain, and it got rained on," and it's like, No, I think that this is a good move. You know, and it's worth it, I think. But so basically, as soon as I get the books show up, I'll take probably 2 to 3 days to overhaul my studio again from creative mode into fulfillment mode, and then and just to pack all my books in order, and then I'll just pump them out. If everything goes as planned, second printing might be out by the end of the month. You know,
Wow,
yeah,
that's fast. So everything is coming from Australia.
Yeah. I print in Australia. I do everything in Australia. I don't use Chinese companies. I don't support communist.
There you go.
Governments. I have to pay a little bit extra, but we do all our printing here in Australia. It's the reason that Kakashi Murder Dolls got out on time when everyone else was held up by the paper shortage, because all of the paper in those books, which you'll see is some of the best quality you'll find, it's straight out of Australian trees, all here in Australia, no outsourcing to foreign countries.
Oh, wow.
And yep. And I want to support small print. I want to keep, physical print media alive. That's an important thing. And our printer loves working with us. We love working with them, and I think they produce top quality stuff. And we should have everyone's books. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks in the mail, and that's it. So Dino King will be in people's hands soon. And we will be closing out. I guess we'll do a big closeout stream on the March to 40K. That's what Ethan's been saying. Hopefully we can get it there.
Dude, you can get to 50. You can get it to 50. I believe.
No, I couldn't get to 50K.
you got to believe it, dog.
Yeah,
It'll happen.
I think it's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible.
I've already got so many people backing it, though. I don't think that there's more I don't know what more to do. I don't know what else to sell, because it's all just people have bought it already. No, I'd have to make
no. There's millions of people in the world who haven't seen this book yet, who don't know anything about it yet. It just keep showing up on people's channels, and more people will hear about it.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry, Carbon, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No problem. No, I have a bunch of questions for you, because I'm very curious about a lot of things with regards to your work. I'm sure you probably explained this in the past, but I'm new to your stuff. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest. Dino King is the first book I'm backing from you.
And that's fine. You'll be able to follow it just fine. I think you won't need anything else. I don't think to keep.
What made you decide to do like a kind of manga similar to manga, right? The style of it. What made you decide to go for that kind of style?
So basically, it's explained a little bit in the back of Xenotype Dreamcatcher, actually, which I don't think I even have handy here at the moment. Once again, Australian flags and all sorts everywhere. No, I don't have Dreamcatcher here right at the moment. But essentially, I wanted to do a Super Robot series. Are any of you guys familiar with Macross or Robotech by any chance?
Yeah,
I am not.
I am. From the 80s,
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge fan of Robotech, Macross, and essentially I wanted to do sort of like a giant robot story, kind of like Voltron's, a little bit like that. And so I've been a fan of anime and manga since like Wave 1 Otaku. Like I grew up drawing Astro Boy, it was bigger here in Australia than it was over in America, and so I grew up with that. And basically, I tried to do a couple of comic book projects that were more Western themed, which is sort of more what I was used to working in that capacity in the independent space when Comicsgate wasn't even called Comicsgate yet, way back in the before times, even before Ethan was around. And I tried to get off the ground, but I kept having problems with people. And I wasn't able to sort of build enough of a business to essentially hire some of the guys like from heavy metal who I knew, because they're like $2,000 a page. You got Yellow Flash crying about fucking $4,000 a cover. Like, anyway, these guys are like $2,000 a page to do their work. They're great people, but they're way beyond my budget. And so I just thought, hey, I might do like a cool Go Nagai inspired, Robotech inspired Super Robot series, and I started hunting around to find an artist to do that. And when I couldn't find anyone, I ultimately came across a guy called Odie, who was, Odysseus Theodoratus, sorry, and he was a fan of Tokyo Ghoul and had done work like that. And so essentially what I did was I went, all right, I had 3 other artists that I was potentially gearing up to, but this kid had like super ambition and super passion, and I loved it. And I was like, all right, you say, like, he had the nuts to say to me he wanted to be one of the best mangaka in the world. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. You want to become one of the best manga in the world? Let's fucking do it. That's what I love, man. I fucking give me that passion. And so I didn't hire these other 2 people, which maybe a little bit regret. I ended up hiring him. And because he couldn't ironically do robots and stuff, which is what I wanted to do, I cracked out an old property that I developed way back called Xenotype, which was about the impending mine apocalypse and all sorts of stuff like that. And sort of more biopunk, biotech, sort of Guyver, Ultraman style sort of thing. And I gave him that because that was easy for him to do. And so that's what started me on the manga route. And then when I did that, I had huge success. Like right now, you guys can read Crossroads Drive on the internet for free. That's sort of a mockumentary style parody comic. And it got the highest engagement of any webtoon in the history of webtoons, with an over 90, I think it was like 96 or something % engagement rate, beginning to end, which is never happens. We got like 2 million views like straight away. It was like incredible. We did that and Xenotype Pursuit, had a huge hit on that. We got the attention of Akira Toriyama, of Oda, of a bunch of the guy that does My Hero Academia, a whole bunch of folks. Really awesome stuff happened that really was really successful. And so overnight I became big in Japan. Suddenly I've got people in the Japanese space lining up that want to work with me because these huge names were like, this guy's a once in a generation talent. And so I have just a smorgasbord of different artists I could potentially work with. And that's what sort of started with the manga thing. And then I just sort of kept going with it because I thought, hey, it's different to what everyone else is doing. I'm producing it at what I think is a higher quality than a lot of other people are that are sort of doing the same stuff. And, since all my books are interconnected, they're all a shared universe. They're all on the one planet, at least not Wonder Island, but all my Xenoverse books. I want to keep that in an anime style, in a manga style, sort of still fit in that sort of realm. That's basically what happened, Well, it is what happened.
That makes sense. Were you ever a fan of Kashan Robot Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's one of my favorites of the old anime.
Do you not see the Kashan Robot Hunter in Esper's design? Did you?
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
I gave him the same V. Hold on, just
Carbon Heart's a normie. He hasn't gotten the comic book yet, like me. Like he's not as cool as I am.
No, it's not there. I mean? Actually,
I'm just kidding, Carbon.
This is awesome. Wife. Wife. My front here. Hold on a minute.
You have a bell? You have a bell to ring? That you can
Yes,
he does. Yeah, he does.
Why? I think she's with the kid. I should have Xenotype here, but Kashan was a big part of the inspiration in Esper's design. I encourage you, if you can, go look it up.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, hold on a minute. I can bring him up on over. I should have thought about that. I've got to think
real quick. While you're bringing that up, Sleeping Psychopathy says, does Australia have more of a market for Eastern/Asian storytelling style or more Western American?
Okay, so the Australian comic book industry is a the good old wife bell.
The way that they spell it out, because to us you have an Australian accent. It's hilarious. Yeah. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'd say that it's bigger. I'd say that it's bigger here with with sort of more the Eastern stuff. But just this is Innotype. See, this is see how I've got the sort of the V there from Kashern.
I see
Yeah,
that.
I've got the Batman mask. It's all for a reason too. All of it's for a reason. But I did pretty good on Xenotype too. But anyway, but yeah, huge fan of Kashern, man. Good taste.
Patrick,
I would
you had a question before?
Well, so I'm kind of an anime / manga noob, as it were. But I will say that if I were to tell, like, I've got my own comic book that just closed out its campaign, and if I were to say that there was any story that inspired the way that I wrote it, like the way the story set up, the narrative storytelling style, it would be Attack on Titan. Do you like that show?
Yeah. Again,
Right. I say show like a fucking noob. I mean the manga / eventually show.
Attack on Titan is great. Attack on Titan is the reason that I wanted, when I made Esper, we're talking Xenotype for just a second. When I made Esper, I gave him those whips on the back of his hands, like these telekinetic whips. And the reason I did that was so that I could make more interesting fight scenes, but also because I'd seen Attack on Titan and I really liked the way they sort of slingshotted themselves around the city. And I was like, hey, if I sort of want to have a homage of Spider-Man where he's like swinging around and stuff, but I don't want it to just be straight up like Spider-Man, what could I do? And I thought, hey, I'll give him like these tentacle whips out of his hands and he'll throw himself around like Attack on Titan. That'll be visually interesting. And Attack on Titan had some really great energy in the first couple of seasons.
Mr. Self-Destruct says shooting ropes.
Shooting ropes. Yeah.
Don't you want to shoot ropes like a man? Just real quick, Liam, just so you know, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Obviously, you already heard me say the F word, which is, for those who don't know, it's fuck. So you can say whatever you want. Any opinion you want to express whatsoever, you are allowed to. I'm not going to go after you. I'm not going to take you off my show. So just so you know, just no fucks given. This is Comicsgate.
Who's that guy in red you've got up on your shelf back there with the yellow dots? Who's that guy in red you've got with the yellow dots on his chest up there on your top shelf? Who is that? What is that?
This one?
Yeah.
That's a Age of Apocalypse Magneto Marvel Legend.
Magneto, I see it now. Thank you.
No, you're good. It's his long hair braids coming down. Yeah.
Cool.
I love Magneto. Sleeping Psychopathy says, I thought the F word was fag. Ha! You didn't think I would say that on YouTube, did you?
Yeah. This is a no holds barred show.
Right.
You could share any conspiracy theory you believe.
Yep.
Any political theory. Even racism. You could just be as racist as you are.
Don't give people an open for that. I mean, you can. Yes. I'm not going to. This is a free speech.
Although,
it's a Comicsgate show. It's all about free speech. That's what it's about. Sleeping Psychopathy says, at least that's the way that sounds in my head.
So, Liam, let me ask you: is the Coriolis effect real?
What's the Coriolis effect?
Coriolis effect is that apparently in Australia, since it's on the other side of the globe from us, I'm in the U.S. Apparently, when water drains, it rotates in the opposite, like counterclockwise as opposed to clockwise.
No, I don't think so. I remember that from Simpsons. I don't know. I don't remember. I have checked it. Before, but I don't think that it's noticeable. No. I don't know if it's real. I'll check later this afternoon and let you know on Twitter.
I'm curious because actually that might debunk the flat Earth. Also, yeah,
that's gonna upset some people. They got a lot of dreams in the flat Earth.
Flat Earth has a lot of people support it, and every time they're like, "Here's evidence for flat Earth people," it comes like just shy of being like legitimate evidence, and that's like I don't want to not believe it. I mean, I believe a lot of crazy ass things.
Have you guys seen the official Facebook page of the Flat Earthers? Have you seen the Flat Earth?
I've seen the Twitter one, but not the Facebook one.
Yeah, the Facebook one's description is like bringing together flat Earthers from all across the globe.
That's good. That's pretty good.
I didn't want to point too much attention to it because it's too good. I don't want him to change it.
Wow.
Haldir, 6480. From now on, Haldir, I'm just going to call you Haldir. Has anyone read Eden? It's an Endless World. It's an amazing but not well-known cyberpunk manga. One of my favorites. He says favorites, which means he's probably from Great Britain. I'd rank it with the likes of Battle Angel, Alita, and Ghost in the Shell.
Was actually the inspiration a little bit for One Piece. A little bit of deep lore there for those of you who don't know. But we don't have much weebery here, so.
Nice. Let's see here. King of the Squib says humans are stupid. He also said, "Yas, I am anti-human," which means essentially in America that makes him a leftist. Ha 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 ha. That's my opinion. Mr. Self-Destruct says, "I've got Eden on a hard drive somewhere." Haldir liked what I read. Fair enough. Liam, also the other manga that I have not read the manga. I've not read any mangas. I got to be honest. I have Attack on Titan Omnibus over there that my friend gave me, at least the first one. I think there's several issues to it. I have not read it yet. I'm lazy like that sometimes. Do you like Full Metal Alchemist? And the show that I watched was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Full Metal Alchemist is all right. It's never been my full cup of tea, which is funny because of how heavily influenced like Yuka was with Full Metal Alchemist. Like she loves it. And you'll see if you look at my Kakashi Moto Dolls book, there is heavy influence in her art style inspired from Full Metal Alchemist. But me myself, I was never hugely into it. It was never a huge sort of thing for me. But I recognize it as a hit series and stuff. It's done well. But yeah, if you're looking at like Jack Williams from Kakashi Moto Dolls and thinking, wow, he looks a bit like Elric, whatever his name is. I don't even remember. You might go, yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
nice.
A little bit.
Examoon says best anime is Spice and Wolf. Second best anime is High School DxD. Third best anime is Digimon. Okay, no.
I don't know about that, Examoon.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But, Liam, let me ask you, because you mentioned Robotech and Macross, and I'm assuming from that era you probably like Voltron also.
A little bit, yeah. I grew up with Voltron and stuff like that, I liked it growing up.
But what's your favorite, your favorite kind of entertainment growing up? What were you into the most, even outside of comics and cartoons? You know what I mean? Like, what was your biggest passion?
I don't think there was one. I mean, my passion has always been sort of comic books and stuff. Like it's different here in Australia. It's like I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons. I didn't have a dad or nothing. He basically kicked my head in my whole life and then took off when I was 4. And so like all my sort of moral lessons and stuff I learned from goofy Saturday morning PSAs. Mm-hmm. And I found comic books when I was still very young. And I was the only person sort of in my town that sort of read comic books. I would draw them and stuff. And so I always really sort of loved that stuff. And the rest of my life, I was starving and fighting. And I don't want to be like, but like that was honestly my life. And so these comic books and these old, anime that I used to tape and these old cartoons I used to tape and stuff, they were treasures to me. Because you couldn't just go to the store and buy them. You didn't have access to them. And no one else was really all that interested too much until the X-Men cartoon came along. When the X-Men cartoon came along, it became really popular and with all these other kids. And they're asking like, what's a Wolverine? Because we didn't even know it was an animal, So like, it's a Wolverine, Liam. And what's his name mean? And what's all this and what's that? And that was like my primary school, And
I didn't know that either. I'll admit I didn't know that when I first heard Wolverine. I learned it from the character's name, and I didn't know that it was an animal. So I'm sure there's a bunch of people. That happened to a lot of people, I think.
I had read Old Yeller, I think it was. And Old Yeller, the dog gets killed by a Wolverine, if I'm not mistaken. I might be totally mistaken. But That's how I first heard about a Wolverine. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce another member of the Comicsgate Commandos, one that is yet to be court-martialed, but he will for his desertion of duty for the past 3 weeks. But here he is now, ladies and gentlemen, our medic of the team, Dr. Ben. Welcome back, Dr. Ben.
Gentlemen, glad to be here as always.
Dr. Ben, this is Liam Gray that we have on here. I don't know if you've heard of him. I don't know if you've been paying attention. But, he's got a hit comic book called Dino King.
King.
And well, I guess so what would you say, Liam? Is it a manga or is it a comic book?
Look, there's this weird culture around that very question. And I'll just tell you what the big boy professionals at the top of the Eastern industry say. It's the same thing.
Yeah?
All of these people that are like, all of these purist weebs that are going around going, oh, it's not. Look, manga just means comic book in Japanese. It's the same thing.
Wait, does it really? Is that the actual? Was that the actual meaning of the word?
That's the actual translation.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So all of these people that are like the purists going, oh, it's its own art form and this and that. It's like, it's just a different way of telling comic books. It's the same thing. They just read differently because they have a different language structure.
Yeah.
It's
manga.
Manga. Manga.
You got to add you got an R at the end there. Halder. Manga.
I got a Sin City manga in here somewhere.
Manga. Oh my god.
The difference between the aesthetics of manga to manga are so radical in everything from visual to storytelling that they have a broader range of diversity than Western books in a lot of ways, which no one really talks a lot about because they only see a very narrow glimpse of what's coming out of Japan. Mm-hmm. But it's a comic book. It's a graphic novel. It's sort of in an Eastern style. It's a manga too, but that's what they are, and anyone who wants to pretend otherwise is just sort of being a pretentious navel gazer. And yeah.
Well, there's no Western / Eastern style of writing. There is certainly the aspect of, I've noticed this when I watch the shows, that there is in Japanese this is what I've been told, so you can correct me if I'm mistaken. In Japanese culture, sometimes it's offensive to assume that somebody knows information about a subject, so you have to repeat the information. So I've noticed that in the shows that are based on mangers, that that characters will repeat information that you as the viewer already know. That's the only real difference. I mean,
and this is well, there are linguistic things other than that, and it's like, there is a difference between sort of traditional Western superhero soap opera format writing and a lot of what is going on in shonen, which I guess are the two closest parallels if you want to say seinen, but seinen usually is a bit further. It's a thing of scales is the best way I can sort of describe it. It's about understanding the different sort of tone of scale. And like a lot of, how do I put this? Like there definitely is an Eastern and Western style. I try to blend the strengths of what I find in Western storytelling with the Eastern stuff, which is why you'll find that a lot of Dino King is very decompressed, more than you would usually find in another comic, but it's also a little bit more compressed than what you might find in the manga, and that's because I'm trying to balance these two things in such a way that you get a nice, comfortable middle ground.
Yes,
but again, there's so much diversity that we can't talk in absolutes. Anything I say is a fact. People are going to find exceptions for, because it just is what it is. But generally, yeah.
Mr. Self-Destruct says, sorry, go ahead, Carbon. Mr. Self-Destruct can wait for a second.
In Dino King, I understand that there is, I got background noise going on. Sorry for hearing motorcycles revving up.
Yeah.
I understand that the storyline, well, I mean, this is the question, I guess. Is it drawing from some of your own personal spiritual views or theories on the history of the world, conspiratorial theories?
Okay, so I don't really. There's a difference between what I believe and what I create for entertainment. Okay, so but I will say that Donna King, like I mean, I'm not going to go where, but I came from a very, very poor, very abusive household. My parents were both drug addicts, very severely. Had a very violent upbringing. I grew up with motorcycle gangs and in drug farms most of my life until we were taken in by foster care. And the world I came from, sort of the rural outback of Australia, is a very different world to what you guys sort of have taken for granted. And I'm not saying that to be nasty, just it's very different. And so what happened was I ended up, without going into my whole life story, I ended up being homeless when I was very young. And at the time, I was a member of a bunch of punk groups, like fan clubs and stuff like that. And essentially, the mother of the lead singer of the punk band MXPX, her name's Michelle, her and her husband started looking out for me and didn't need to. They were all the way in Bremerton in Seattle. And basically near Seattle, I should say. And so in Washington, I think. Can't remember. It's been so long. But basically, they were looking out for me, and they didn't need to do that. And so what happened was eventually I ended up doing touring and stuff with bands and stuff so that because I was sleeping in it was just me and my dog, and I was like sleeping in the roofs of public toilets and under old buildings and stuff and like just trying to because I couldn't get on unemployment because I didn't have an address and I had no family or anything to help me or anything. So I was just trying to figure out how to survive. And then basically what happened was they took me over there and I visited over there and my life just got all turned around. And when I went to their home, I was
Seattle?
Yeah, in Bremerton. They took me in and they took me up, and they didn't need to do that. And it's like they took me in and they gave me a sort of a chance. And what happened was I was an angry little atheist because I was angry at God. And they're Christians. And so they took me in and they never preached to me. They never did any of that. And it was the very first time I'd actually seen a functional, wholesome family of just people that are good people. I'd never experienced that. My whole life was the punk scene. It was fighting and scrapping, and it was hard. And so this little window that I had, it was like just learning a whole different way of living that was like completely foreign to me. It was something that I didn't know. And so when I wrote Dino King, I wanted to put that onto the page. I wanted to sort of take that human experience where he's like, but this food is yours. This is me going like, in a way, this is me going like, all of this is your kind. Like, why are you showing it to me? Like, this is something. It was so foreign, and so I just tried to sort of commemorate that. And it's like Kaiji isn't Liam. We're very different mindsets, very different characters. But that experience was something that I'd gone through with the eras, and I wanted to sort of put a pin in and just sort of show, hey, this was, there's another way that you can live that's out there. And,
well, I think that's why it seems so real. I mean, they say right from your experience, and I read that scene and I was like, this is a very real thing. Like, this feels very like it makes sense to be here. Apart from just, the setup of the story itself, it makes sense to be there, but also like the dialogue of the characters in interaction with one another was like, okay, there was nothing that was jarring that was like overly, if it was not something you'd experienced in your life, it would have probably been like cliche and, but it was not that. So I think that's why that worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted to have like a little bit extreme, but a little bit casual, like, and just sort of show that moment. And that's sort of the root of it. I wanted to show like the power of humanity to be better, and how it can make you better. Because in a lot of ways, like for myself, that's the reason I related to the Hulk. That's the reason I liked Hulk stories. I was an angry, abused kid. And all of my greatest triumphs for moments of anger, with from throwing fucking hands. And the idea that, you know, when I'm sitting there making these characters, I've got 3 major characters in the Xenoverse. I've got like Felix, I've got Kaiji, and I've got Mizuo. And like, basically like Kaiji, I didn't want to just be a werewolf that turns into a dinosaur or like a Godzilla. I wanted him to be a character that might be able to help and inspire other people. So I wanted it. He's not meant to be just a Hulk knockoff. He had to be human. And so I thought, well, hey, they're in an alien world. Humanity is rare here because there aren't humans here in this world. So like, what if I showcase the best examples of humanity, and that is what makes him strong. That is what makes him more powerful than the creatures that wanted to destroy him in the end, you know?
Speaking of showcasing things, do you mind if I show this this trailer here on the Dino King #1 sold out second printing?
That'd be great. Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna do that real quick, folks. Here, let's take. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Australian accent. We're gonna find out if we can take a quick peek at this.
I read a comic book today that was
Patrick.
so good. Unexpectedly good. I read this comic book and I wasn't expecting it to be good at all. I was expecting this book to be not very good. I'm stunned by how good it is.
What is it? I'm dying to find out.
When I tell you that this book is good, I want you to understand
What's
that, like,
good? Like, I mean, you thought it's like I go into a movie thinking it sucks, and then it's borderline. I'm like, wow, that was a lot better than I thought, but it's still it's like mid, you know, like.
No, I mean, this is professional. It's better than anything any of the Kings have done.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
Holy crap! Mike Baron is there.
Yes.
Graham Nolan's there.
Better.
Billy is there. Wow.
Better.
Ethan Van Sciver is there.
Better. I looked at it and I went, there's some ideas I'd like to pull from them.
All right, I got to know. What is it?
This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah. Right.
Dino King by Liam Gray.
Look at this. I'm not sure exactly fully what's happened yet. So I just woke up and I was about to drive to the city, and my Discord server's all exploded. I think Dino King is sold out. I have no idea how this happened. I'm so grateful.
The lead character's lovable, likable. There's violence in it. It's the right length.
Go see Malin's channel. What's going on Malin's channel? What happened?
This is legitimately excellent. It is way better than anything I've read in a long time.
No way.
John, I'm not even kidding you. This is like superior writing. This is superior storytelling. I don't even know what to. I'm not with you. I promise you. I'm telling you the truth.
Anybody out there find a link to Dino King?
Look at this.
What is it? What happened overnight?
I don't know.
Oh my God!
People are saying John Malin. People are saying Ethan. I don't know what's going on.
Look at these black. Like, you are the engine of the apocalypse. And he's like, no.
Ethan liked the book.
It's actually like you were the engine.
Ethan loved Dino King. Oh, that's so good.
It's good writing.
Oh my God.
Here's the link. It is closed, so you couldn't back it anyway.
He needs to reopen this so we can all buy it and check it out.
Ellie Belly, you got Daddy's tie on. Oh, look, Ellie, we did well. Oh my God, we did it. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone who backed, you guys just changed my life. Thank you so much, right? Thank you so much. Things have been really rough right now, and we've been struggling to just keep going until we, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the book. This is life-changing.
That's one of my favorite videos of all time. It's awesome.
It felt so good. You know, people want to always make out Comicsgate to be terrible. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to lie. There are some dickheads out here. But, you know, the backers, what they do, I'm really, really, really profoundly grateful. Like, you're doing good work. You're doing God's work, and it's just it. I really am glad you enjoyed the book and you got behind me. And I don't think anyone can argue with that. You know, they can sling names and accusations and throw as many labels as they want. They can try and make it out to be a dirty thing. But right now, there is a huge network of backers and creative people that are out here making great stuff and supporting people that otherwise, like me, that otherwise wouldn't have support. I was completely banned from the Australian comic book convention scene on the East Coast for things I didn't.
Are you a major criminal or something? I don't know. Like
they accused me of heinous crimes that I didn't commit, including animal abuse and elderly abuse and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
They went and they called all of these people, even though there's no evidence of it. They tried to pin me for the crimes of Liam Cameron Gray of Sydney. They went through and they got me banned from the convention scene. So it was like my one hope of being able to keep my comic book business going was to be able to do the convention scene, since I'd been so ostracized and there was no way to clear my name. And then just out of nowhere, I was just struggling one book at a time, just throwing them out. And like I said, you read Dino King at the back, it says like, this was my last shot, you know, my last big book. And it blew up and has done really well. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support I got from the Comicsgate community, you know?
Fantastic.
Well, that's what Comicsgate is all about, dude. And like I said to you before, all it took was you know, just some humanity, some realism. You know, I saw you on his stream and I was like, whoa, you know, I'd never seen this before. And that's what it took for me. And obviously other people felt the same way. And here we are now with our copies of Dino King, and we're expecting you. You know, now we expect you to do another one.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
no pressure.
I can't wait to get to number 2. Like, I've been doodling and like planning, and it's like, I didn't think so. Something has changed, and it's like I sort of was leading with Xenotype as my sort of flagship book. It's my Spider-Man book, you know.
Right.
And so it's gotten like 2 million views and stuff on Webtoons. It's like highly acclaimed and stuff. And so I was sort of leading with that. But now Dino King has had this huge explosion of success. And it's like, well, I need to sort of rewrite a lot and rework a lot of what was going to happen in Edge of Extinction 2, so that if I move forward and Dino King is the title that everyone is more enthusiastic about, that's where I've got to funnel the majority of my money to. That I can continue that on in a more productive way, because I'd always planned for Dino King to be kind of like sort of a traveling adventure series where it's kind of like Hulk, where he just wanders from point to point. That's why there's the map as well. We do the maps everywhere, but that's why I marked the maps the way I did, where it was just going to be like one shots, a bunch of one shots. Because Kaiji doesn't care about the bigger meta plot or anything like that. He just cares about his family and his life, you know.
A couple quick questions for you. We've got Examoon says popular manga writers have multiple series ongoing at the same time with a new book every month or so. Japanese writers are extremely efficient, and it's a global tragedy when they die. That's not a question, but it's there. Then we have Halder says, will you ever offer black and white manga size collected volumes for your books, Liam? It would be a great add-on option for future campaigns.
Potentially, yeah, I could look into that for sure. I had previous complications with that with my original campaign, because that was one of the things that my original artist wanted to do, and I've been wearing the backslash and not doing that from the beginning. So we'll see. If I do that, it'll be I'll be handling everything, you know, no more. Everything from now on is all by me. That's the way this works.
Amazing. He just said doo-doo, folks, by the way, just so you didn't, if you missed that. Had Liam learned anything from the success of Dino King, something that set his book apart from the others?
Yeah, you know, I think that it was just being a little bit more vulnerable, I guess, emotionally with some of the characters, and trying to add a little bit more comedy in than what I normally do. You know, like I'll do a little bit of comedy here and there, But like Kaiji I was really apprehensive to put out Dino King. I was a little bit embarrassed by it because I was like, normally I'm 3 steps removed from anything I write, and with Dino King I was 2 steps removed, and I was like, this was like a very sacred moment in my life. It's like how I came to God, how I sort of changed the way I saw the world. It changed my heart, and I sort of was just writing a fictitious recreation to show the goodness of inherent goodness of people, how it is out there. And I was really apprehensive to release it. You know, I really was. And the fact that it's blown out and had this success and it actually reached people, and that like no one's giving me shit about it, like no one's like, you know, like taking me apart on it. It's really just sort of, it's been a lot to think about. It really has. And it's like, it has caused a couple of rewrites on other projects that I'm working on to sort of adjust them a little bit so that they're a bit more, there's a little bit more humanity in the front. I would normally like to deliver sort of the human story in about Act 4 out of the 5-act structure. So moving a little bit more to Act 1, I guess, allows the audience to imprint on the character more quickly and get to know them more quickly, which I think is the strength of Dino King. But I'm rambling. I'm sorry. But I have yes.
You're not rambling. You're fine.
I've given it lots
Let me
of
ask you, is there anything that you do?
I'm always trying to be a better writer. I'm always trying to make better stories. I always want to create stuff that people are passionate and excited about, and that's important to me. So yeah, I've given a lot of thought.
Is there anything that you do that's kind of your go-to way to step out of your work? You know, to kind of just breathe and unwind?
I haven't had a chance to do that until this campaign exploded. So for the last, you guys might have been seeing, I've been on a hard road the last few years, and I've been stressed out. I was in hospital for suicide. It's been rough. And I've been dealing with a lot of shit. There has not been a lot of justice for Liam. And I'm not whining and crying about it. I'm just saying that's been hanging over me for a very long time. And the way that I sort of got through the day for as long as I did was because I was like, I'm just going to get all these books done, and I'll show them. They won't be able to say anything. I'll just keep doing my best. They can't compete with my quality, so I'm just going to keep putting this work in. And so I would wake up, I would work myself to near death. Well, maybe not to near death. I'd work myself till I was completely mentally exhausted and could not think anymore. I'd spend 30 minutes with my wife and then I'd pass out. And that was my life for probably about 3 years. Every single day, no days off. And the times that I wasn't working I was streaming. So like it was grueling. And I felt like I had to do that. I had to grind like that just to get 1 or 2 sales a day. Just if I was lucky. But with this big boom that I've got from Dino King, it's allowed me and afforded me the chance to step back and really emotionally recover from a lot of the damage I've taken and look at how things are done and take more time for my family. Like this afternoon, I'm taking everyone out to the pig races. Me and a bunch of farmers are getting together, and
yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. What is all that?
I'm gonna video it. I'm not gonna live stream it because we've got an announcer and stuff, and I don't want him to say the location I'm at because I do have stalkers.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna video it and I'll put it all together as best I can.
Wish I had
stalkers.
stalkers.
After this, it'll be fun. And you know, I've been able to spend more time with my daughter. You know, I've always made time for Elle, but now I get to spend a little bit more time with her and more time with my wife. We're really in a happy place. Our home is nice. It's just, it's been a huge blessing. It really, really has. And when I said life-changing, that wasn't me being melodramatic. Like this is something this was as big a moment for me as that moment with the Heroes, where I got to get a whole new perspective on life. I didn't realize how badly I needed this break. and this has just been so good for me, you know, mentally, emotionally, professionally, and I'm thank you to everyone who's a part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime. Just you know, give me another book and I'll back it.
That's the plan. We're just gonna
let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's go, brother. That's right.
What time is it down there in Australia? What time is it down there? I hate to interrupt. I'm just like I'm trying. Because I've seen Liam a bunch of times. You know, I always like hear about him with his books, Murder Dolls, and can't remember the name of the other one, and of course the Dino King now. So, what time is it?
Right now it's 11:40, and I will have to go in about 20 minutes. So
at night?
No, in the morning. In the morning.
Yeah. In the morning?
Uh-huh.
What?
They're behind us, Dr.
No,
Ben.
we're ahead of you. We're a day in the future.
Oh, so that's why you okay, that makes a lot more sense then.
I'm from the future. That's why I'm always able to win the lottery and stuff.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's how they're gonna get us.
Mm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense because okay, that makes sense then. Because yesterday I was hanging out with my old man and we were about to watch Violent Night. If you guys ever heard of that movie, and I received that Twitter message from you like, we're going live in 2 hours, right? And I was like, no. So okay, that makes more. You're in the future.
But now that I sort of once I line things up, I sort of know. So now I know, like, so this is the time I can sort of schedule it in. You know, it's not an inconvenience at all.
Are you going to sleep now?
No, I'm gonna pig race. We got piggies to race.
He just
said that's. I didn't realize that was immediately. From here, you're going on to race the pigs, the swines. Okay.
I did that.
You don't have any. Do you have to touch them, or you just bet on them?
Well, both. You know.
What?
Well,
what race is this?
Do you get to eat them later?
You know, I'm a farmer. I was like, hey, my comic book industry is gonna implode. I'm gonna spend everything I can to buy a farm, and now I'm surrounded by bazillionaire farmers that live in the middle of nowhere. And we're like, well, what are we gonna do for fun? Let's race pigs.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the farm and how that's been working in terms of has that been like a viable source of income? Working the livestock?
It will be now. We had a really rough patch, but that was because the ATO, the Australian Tax Office, showed up like around Christmas when we first bought
fucking taxes.
Yeah. Dude.
I don't know how much freedom of speech you have in your country, which I have referred to as fascist in the past. So you can say what you can say, but you know.
Well, basically, what happened was the reason that I was in such dire straits is because I'd essentially been living off interest from my bank account, right? Like I worked like a fucking dog and did a lot of uncredited, really prolific work. And I built up my bank account and I was just living off the interest. That's how I was doing it. But because we had the stalkers and everything that happened, we ended up just moving out and getting the farm. And so we bought the most viable farm that we basically could. And that was everything I had. We left about 25, like I think it was like 22 to 25,000 Australian dollars after everything. I just pulled all the money out of my bank account, which the bank did not like. It took us like a month to get it all out because they just will not hand it over. That was
because they don't have it, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. So we did all of that. I had to go through private stuff and all this other shit. So because I did that, the ATO was like, this is suspicious. Why did you pull out, lots and lots of monies out of your bank account, and where did it all go? What happened in all of this? And I was just kind of like, but then they're like, okay, so they came, they did their investigation, everything. This was right before Christmas. They then went and we're on, okay, so this is everything we sort of did. They said, well, you moved state, so there's this fee, this fee, this fee. And I was like, well, no one told me about that. Why is there fees for me to? Why can I own land here? And there's, but if I buy land there, it's different. Well, it is. And they took everything we fucking had. They took everything. So the money that I was meant to live on for this year, till we made the first round for heading over the yearling cattle, right? The first that first year of money that we're meant to live on, gone. So not only that, I couldn't cover Christmas. I was fucked. I was stressing out, man. I was like struggling. And then people came together in the chat, like King of Squibs, a bunch of other really fucking awesome guys that you'll see over here in the chat. They came together. They helped me get Christmas together so that I could get something for my oldest daughter. And they just sort of supported me through the YouTube. And just by buying Dino King in its first incarnation, we just got enough to sort of keep going. And now Dino King's gone boom up on the second printing. I can relax now because we're going to make it. And now it's not going to be, I don't have to be so stressed. I can just, now it will be sustainable and everything will be better going forward. And fuck you, ATO. You know? I'll tell you what, man.
Okay, we're adding that to the list of government organizations that we've said fuck you to. We've said the ATF, the CIA, the FBI, now the ATO. Anybody else want to add anything on while we're at it?
So I'll tell you what, though, man. I'm gonna be Eric July here for a moment. I'm gonna say fuck those bitch ass roads because I'm not fucking with you guys. The roads out here, we're paying a fucking motherfucking fortune in taxes and shit. You're out there with your hand in my motherfucking pocket. These roads are so bad out where I'm at, where you can't drive to town without your neck being out. My wife and I have to constantly hire massage each other and go to massage parlors and shit to pop our necks and backs back in because those roads are so fucking terrible that you can't drive to get to civilization without your neck being out. And that's some bullshit. So fuck the roads. Fuck those people. If you're going to take all my money, do your jobs. That's what I'll say.
Well, Liam, I will say that you got to look at the bright side, though. I mean, like if you've got to give your wife a massage and she's got to give you a massage, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
That's the bright side, the silver lining to the situation.
Extra with the time I could be making comic books.
He's all about business, folks. You understand? Look at how dedicated to his craft he is. He doesn't even want a massage from his wife, who I'm sure is beautiful. You understand? This is how serious Liam is.
What about boxing? You ever let out some steam, punching a heavy bag or punching doing some boxing?
You want me to hajami no ippo up on this stuff? Yeah, no. I've been challenged to many battles, and all have declined. all have refused to meet me in the ring. But yeah, no, I used to do what was equivalent of MMA before it was called MMA back when I was a teenager. I'm trained. I'm Army Reserves. I've been sort of. I came up through the South Side, so I'm no stranger to throwing hands.
It used to be called just beating the shit out of somebody. That's what it just.
The thing is, I've only got one more good fight in me. Maybe two. I know. Sort of at the end. I'm in my 40s. I'm starting to slow down. I'm starting to get a bit stiff. I can feel it. I'm putting weight on it. I've only got one more good fight. So
if we could sanction one big fight, sanction a legal fight in the ring, who would you pick as your opponent?
I would pick. It would be the match of the millennium. I'd fight John De La Rose.
Oh, what? I thought you would say Matt Barr.
No.
Because that'd be a sweep for you. I feel like you'd fucking clobber him.
No, JDA is still the one.
That's number one, man. He said in his own words, he's my bully. So he's got to bully me. He's got to bully me.
I put my money on you. Liam.
Yeah.
In that fight.
Exomoon says you need a neck harness like what Camelot 331 has, and he also says the technology is called a Hans device. It is basically a neck holder. Well, if it's made by Germans,
is that a real thing? Like, can I get a thing that allow me to put it on when I drive? My neck won't be fucked. Is that like what he's telling me here?
That's what he's saying.
Hands device.
Maybe you got to get one of those cars like he drives.
Yeah.
You got to get a sports. What is that? Like a race car?
Hans device. But see, the thing is, you're going to ask for your papers when you go there.
Yeah, no, because like this is actually no joke. This has been a serious problem. Like, it's not just like bumpy; it like jostles your whole fucking neck out, and you'll feel all of your neck spine, your spine and shit out. And on top of that, I'm hunched over a desk all day writing or drawing, right? And so, like at the end of the day, I'm just like fucking, can barely do anything, and So if there's something that we can invest in that'll stop us from having to lose hours each day, that'd be nice. Not being in pain.
That's why you need guns, because the fact that the citizens don't have guns is the reason why they never fix the roads.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dude, don't listen to what the idiots tell you. We have guns. I'll do a stream again where I walk into the local gun store. Next time I'm down in Casino, I'll drive down. Yeah, dude, we have guns. Everyone says, "Oh, you don't have guns." No, mentally retarded people don't have guns. We have like super strict, like you just got to go fill out a form. If you've got mental health problems, you can't get a gun.
Can you own an automatic gun?
Yeah, if you've got the license, yeah. We can't get like after a certain we can get I should just go into the gun shop again and talk to the lady.
Bro,
like,
you've got to make a video about the gun shop in Australia because I have to know.
Yeah, no, I'll do it because it's, what everyone tells you is bullshit. Like, you know, you need to have, you know what it is when you're filling out forms, it's like reason for firearm. You just can't go like, because I want it. You got to have like personal protection.
So you don't really then have guns. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
No, Liam, come on. I can walk into any shop in this state.
Yeah.
And in many states, not necessarily all of them, but in this state that I live in, Missouri, and I can say to them, I want that Colt 1911-45, and they can go, why do you want it? And I can go fuck yourself. Here's $900, and they'll go, okay, and that's that.
That's true, man. But
Seems
you
like
know, and this is where we get heated and political. But we have had 0 school shootings.
School shootings in America are inspired predominantly from mental health issues, like
yeah, it doesn't matter why someone's doing it. It just matters it's happening, and it's not happening here, which is.
Do you have any school stabbings?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. All right, noted.
There's only like 4 schools though. There's only like 4 schools in Australia.
But you can get guns. Like I see this all the fucking time, and it's one of the things that I get a bee up my ass about. Especially because, like, I was talking to Crowder way back in the day because it was like he was deliberately false.
Crowder?
Steven Crowder.
Really?
Like,
Steven Crowder? You were talking to him?
Yeah, way back.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no. So he was like doing this thing. Like I was one of like the first Mug Club supporters from way back in the day.
Wow.
And basically he was releasing these false fucking rape statistics from Australia. And it's so fucking salty about it because he was doing it to sort of show how bad we are with our guns. I was like, dude, what you're presenting is not realistically, is not a realistic indicator of what's actually going on here. You're releasing these rape statistics and shit of a bunch of 16-year-olds that are being charged for statutory rape because they're going down and essentially they're having like big summer parties, and you're presenting them as if they're rape victims when they're really just 2 16-year-olds having sex, and then the cops rounding up 40 people at once because I have like the entire East Coast as a party state, right? It's not fucking, like some Middle Eastern country where women are getting grabbed on the street and gang raped, right?
Well, I'm going to drop the truth on you here.
Yeah.
He was doing it all. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Go on.
I'm going to drop the truth about the school shootings. And not about Australia, because I don't know about Australia. But the U.S., there's been an increase. We all know it, right? In school shootings the last 20 years. I'll tell you why. It's because bullying has stopped. If bullying were to come back in schools to the point where there were bullies who just kind of put people in check and say, hey, shut the fuck up, and fights, more healthy fights happen, the shootings would go back. There'd be less shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's lots of potential causes and reasons and stuff, but I will just say though, like, so long as you don't have like mental health problems or anything in Australia, you can acquire a firearm. And the people that are telling you otherwise, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. Like I'll do another stream where I go to the gun shop and I'll show you guys. We don't have as big of a range because not as many people buy them, but they're available. They're in the main street. You can just, they're just not in like shopping centers and stuff like in America. That's like the difference.
Mm.
So
Examoon says, even Canada has school stabbings. One happened at my school while I was there. Some immigrant kid got beat up, so their older brother brought a knife at PQ Box. One, I'm just going to repeat a line that you just said. Some immigrant kid got beat up, so their older brother brought a knife. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to repeat that real quick. Make bullying great again. Bring back bullyings. I agree with Carbon Heart in that what has happened is that men have been emasculated, and particularly in America, the white male has been made the white heterosexual male has been made the enemy of the state, essentially. And so when you live your entire life being told that you're racist, that you're bigoted, that you're a piece of shit, that you're guilty of the crimes of people you never fucking met, never knew, yes, it's going to build into you a deep-rooted, a deep-seated resentment. Now, at the same time, there are people who say this is, and the school shootings occur because they have better access to guns. But the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of people who use guns to commit murder like that have acquired said guns illegally. So the law doesn't come into play here. It doesn't have any say whatsoever. If you compare the amount of people in America who use guns legally to defend themselves versus the people who use guns illegally in America to commit crimes, you will find that the American gun laws are actually significantly much better than most countries. And also, our gun laws allow us, ostensibly, theoretically, in Minecraft, to overthrow a tyrannical government, which may or may not be in existence right now, but ostensibly it could, and so that's the reason we have our guns.
And again, I'm gonna be a tool before I pop off here, but I'm gonna say it will never be legal to overthrow the government anyway.
No, it's never legal. Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't be worried about. I wouldn't be worried about overthrowing the government. I wouldn't be worried about whether it's legal or not to do so.
Well, that's the thing. The government doesn't want you to be able to do it, so they will prevent your ability to do so in any way they find capable.
That I see no one talk about, which is fucking heartbreaking to me, because I'm all on your side. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, self-sufficient for a reason, right? But I will say. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go. But I will say, unfortunately, we have technology now. Yeah, we got pigs to race. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now where I believe technology is so advanced that we cannot be free through a militia. Just the fact that a drone can put you in the ground at 200 meters from the sky where you can't even see it. The things aren't like they used to be, and I wish that we still had more freedom and more protection. But again, it's nuts, and I'd love to have this conversation with you another time.
Yeah,
but
we should. I'm gonna write this down to remember for next time.
Yeah, it would be a great conversation to have, but I do have to bail.
Yeah,
because
you're good.
Minutes. Thank you, guys. Please back Dino King if you haven't. I loved being on. It was good catching up with you, Pat. A good Carbon Heart. I've seen you around the chat a lot. Good to finally meet you. And Dr. Ben,
man.
Are you a real doctor?
Of course, sir.
What are you a doctor of?
Oh, don't question it.
Yeah, I can't legally. Right now, I'm in the middle of several.
Don't question it, Liam.
Yeah, there's current legal issues I can't really discuss. Rather not make any.
Liam, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it,
guys. Every sale makes a difference. Love you guys. Catch you next time.
Peace out, Liam. Fantastic. Thanks for him coming on. That's so great. Now all the people who are here for Liam are going to leave. So.
They're off to the pig race as well.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna watch the we're gonna go ahead and watch the pig races. We were watching Liam here while he was on your show, but now that he's gone, we're gonna go ahead and watch the pig races.
We were like the hype show for the pig race. They're all like, okay, let's go see the pigs. All right.
Mr. Self-Destruct says PQ got Liam put on another watch list for this stream. Look, my whole goal to be on YouTube is to put motherfuckers on watch lists, including myself.
Apparently he was already on every possible watch list in Australia, so I don't think we have to worry about that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I didn't want to add another watch list, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay being on another watch list. Kevin says, I'm staying. Thank you, Kevin. Always DTF says, TF2 medic. And that is the story of how I lost my medical license. What does TF2 mean? Please, can you tell me what that means? I'm done.
I think it's a video
Kevin's
game.
Stang. No, I like Stang better. Amazing, guys! That was so cool to have Liam on like that.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
Have you
go
even
ahead.
seen what's his other book that he has? It's the Takashi Murder Dolls.
Takashi
Dino
Murder
King.
Dolls. I have not
And then
seen
another one before that, I think too.
Yeah, Xenotype.
Xenotype. Oh yeah, that's what he was saying. It's like his Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that was his biggest. Well, to him, it was like his biggest project. But I guess whatever hits is is what you got to push forward with. And yeah, Dino King has kind of that kind of teenage, what is it, YA fantasy appeal, I think. Like what is it, Animorphs? Remember Animorphs?
Okay. No.
Yeah.
I didn't. I know. I remember the name, but I didn't watch those.
Yeah, there was like an era of a bunch of like young adult fantasy books and media that hit for a while. Animorphs was one of them.
Was it like after like the Pokemon stuff was coming out?
Right before it, actually. It was kind of around the time of Goosebumps. Like Goosebumps became a thing, and then Fear Street and Animorphs and Beater Boards or something like that.
Dude, Goosebumps was amazing.
Yeah, Goosebumps. That used to be the shit, dude.
Yeah. All right. So now that Liam is gone, we pretty much have an open Comicsgate Commandos here. We can talk about whatever we want. But real quick, Always DTF says Xenotype, Dreamcatcher, and Pursuit, Takashi Murder Dolls, and Dino King.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He seemed, like just from seeing like people talking about him and stuff, I was like, oh, he's a writer. Writing a bunch of different things, figuring stuff out. It's good to see him. You know what I mean? Like you figure out like you find like your audience or whatever, the people that like respond.
Mm-hmm.
Cool
Dr. Ben, now that you've crossed over back to the other side, east of the Iron Curtain.
Right.
Now you're east of the Iron Curtain now. We do have to ask you some questions. We do need to.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
We need to debrief you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And see what's happened since you were gone.
So just real quick, Dr. Ben, where the fuck were you?
I was here last weekend.
No, I know that you showed up, and that's why I sent the link to you this time. But what was going on, man?
There was one I saw where I was it's out and about. You got different different things come up. I don't have sometimes I'm always on call sometimes. So, emergencies can come up. But I don't know. I've just been working on figuring what I'm doing.
Mr. Self-Destruct says, get the duct tape and get the car battery and the nipple clamps out. Look, bro, I work at a car dealership. I literally have all of those things in my apartment right now.
We have a list of 20 questions.
Yes.
We need to go down to test you, Dr. Ben.
That's right, because we think at this point, Colonel Carbon and I think that you probably might be a fucking commie spy.
Oh, well, I mean,
out.
I can definitely, I can't.
Question number 1. Do you know what Pussy Riot is?
Yes.
What is?
Pussy Riot. What is Pussy Riot?
That sounds like fun.
Oh, that sounds like a point in the commie line. Bink. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ben is more towards being a commie right now than a freedom-loving American. That's one question, Dr. Ben. You're on. Well,
I thought I was supposed to wait. So that was the wrong answer.
Dude, you should know who Pussy Riot is. Pussy Riot's a fucking amazing band.
I thought I was supposed to say that I don't know to show that I wasn't.
No, because Pussy Riot is anti-commie. Pussy Riot is like,
I don't know. They're Russians.
Mr. Self-Destruct says Russian lesbian girl band. First of all, I don't know if they're
Promoting
all
lesbians.
lesbians, and I
That's
hope they're
what they're
not all
doing.
lesbians because I fell in love with one of them. So I hope they're not all lesbians. By the way, it's a great day to be rooting for Putin, ladies and gentlemen. I know that Chrissy Mayer started that, but I got to be honest with you. Like, Vladimir Putin, it's a sad state of affairs in the United States of America when Vladimir Putin, an ex-KGB agent, is speaking more truth than our president. That's a sad day for America.
Oh, well,
Now, I'm not going to say that the man is incapable of having a, like everybody is capable of having a religious experience where they turn back to the sweet Lord and the eternal creator and then start acting like it, so I'm not going to say that I don't know about Vladimir Putin. I have no idea like what his spiritual life is like, but from what I can see from his public life, at least in comparison to our politicians and our leaders, the man appears to be somewhat of a Christian prince to the Russian people. And I think that's fucking tight. And you guys, if you haven't, you guys should really look up the things that he has been saying recently and the translations of them, because a big issue of information in this day and age is that most of you guys don't understand the Russian language. And I couldn't listen to Putin speak outright and be able to say, oh, this is what he's saying. Like, I can understand probably 50% of what he's saying when he says it. I'm not really that good at Russian. I'm pretty good.
Dr. Ben's actually fluent in Russian.
Well, now he is. Now he is after those 3 weeks of defection.
How am I the one who's under questioning here
because Comicsgate Commandos continued, and where were you? You were gone. You were gone. Probably
let me ask
somewhere
you guys,
in Novosibirsk.
Before I forget, because speaking of leaders, what do you think was the deal with Biden this past week? That incident. Do you think he actually shit himself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because most people were saying that it looked like he did, but the funny thing is, when I first saw it, I wasn't thinking that. I thought that he had like a brain fart. Like he was about to sit down and then he didn't know what he was doing anymore.
That is a possibility, but also he did shit his pants when he met with the Pope. I know that. As a matter of fact, I can't say, but I know that. I know he shit his pants. Because the priests were all laughing about it. You see, in the Catholic community, there's some
they know the smell.
No, they really do. In the Catholic community, there's this you might think that they're not gossipy, but they are a little bit gossipy.
Well, of course.
And there were some priests who were like, "Yup, he shit his pants." Like it was a real thing. Real quick, Exomoon says Putin had a brony/furry convention raided by the FSB for promoting degeneracy. Like I said, folks, another great day to be rooting for Putin. Like I can't even. That is the epitome of degeneracy. To literally act.
He imprisons.
It's one thing to act like an animal, but it's an entirely different thing to act like an animal in a sexual manner, which is what this whole brony furry thing is about. It's not about. What it really comes down to is the sexuality behind it. And so when you do that, I'm not against it. Got to be honest with you. KGB agent is a based Putin Exomoon. Yes. I've always seen my fair share of toddlers. I've seen my fair share of toddlers. That's exactly what they look like when they shit while standing. Dude, me too. I used to be a manager of a child care center, and that's they're like, wait, let me take the glasses off. They're like, hey, yeah, and then they go.
Yeah, they kind of lean forward a little bit.
Yeah. And you're like, did you
Yeah,
just poop yourself? And they're like, no. And you're like, yes, you did.
Well, the fact that his wife, the fact that Jill Biden walked him off afterwards alone, it made it look like, okay, something happened. Yeah, dude, like, it's time for him to fucking step down. Like, he's not well. It's bad.
I don't think he was ever at a point where he could, like,
you want Mamala? You want Mamala in charge instead?
Oh my god.
Well,
you know what though? At least we can blame her for things. At least Kamala is she may be dumb as complete fuck. She may be one of the dumbest fucking people to have ever spoken on live television ever, but she is aware of her own actions, and therefore she's liable for her own actions, and so we can hold her accountable for said actions.
Yeah, but
so
Pat, stop. We would not want her as president. There's no way we would want her as
president for the
president.
rest of the.
okay, well,
this
think about
term,
this
right?
though. You're saying Biden's president right now. Biden is not making the decisions. It's somebody behind him making decisions, and that same person behind him is going to be the same person behind Kamala.
Well, let me tell you this. Biden, as bad as he is, as incompetent and empty-headed as he is still a better president than Kamala Harris. But what I'm saying is that
what do you think Kamala will do?
Well, I think the
Pardon all
biggest
drug dealers.
Not likely, considering her track record.
The bigger detriment would be what everyone else does around her. If she were to be the president, the biggest effect would be world politics would completely descend.
I see
Congress, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she doesn't necessarily need to do any executive orders. As a matter of fact, I would bet that she wouldn't even propose any executive orders because she's so passive. She would just sit back and do nothing while everything burns down, basically.
Real quick, Mr. H. Oh wait, Examoon says I need to go in order here. Examoon says one of the veterans directly behind him turned his head, probably from the smell. Dude, I saw that. It was cringy as fuck. Always DTF says, didn't a court officially say he is too incompetent to be held accountable in trial? They in fact did. That he is mentally incompetent. He cannot be held accountable, which is like the fact that such a thing occurs and it's not an instant removal from the office of President of the United States shows you that our government is so horribly corrupt. I don't think, and you guys can disagree with me. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. I don't think that our government can be saved from what it is. I think it's so far gone. It's so corrupt, and there are so many people in all of the positions of power that matter that it will not matter until you literally remove them from power of your own accord. And I'm not saying revolution necessarily, but Examoon says Kamala is at least aware enough to veto dumb shit, such as plans to send a CIA team to take out Assange. Trump's advisor tried to take out Assange, but Trump vetoed it. Biden wouldn't take notice and veto. So, okay, I think I should let you guys speak on what I said first.
Yeah, let me briefly respond to what you're saying,
go ahead.
because I understand the kind of discouragement with regard to the government, the point that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
To be more accurate, I think it would make more sense to say that corruption can never be eliminated, right? And also, you can never really have completely believable candidates, right? Because candidates have always made promises they don't deliver on. And then also, in terms of Congress voting, for certain bills, there's been a lot of letdown from both parties. So I think that's always going to exist. But at the same time, I think that into the future, it's not impossible for there to be new systems put into place to kind of place more checks upon the system. Like, for example, corruption within insider trading and super PACs and
limitations
lobbyists.
on term limits, anything like that.
Yeah, all those. I think there are ways that we can hold them more accountable. I think. I don't think it's hopeless, but work needs to be done. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If we all sit back and go, oh, forget it, and you throw your hands up, that's not a solution. I don't believe in ignoring politics. A lot of people kind of say, hey, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. That's what leads it to getting worse.
Yeah.
It's if you do that, it's only going to get worse. So
I
like
want
that
to
more.
believe you. I want to be on your side. Honestly, I really do. And like the man that I look up to the most, my own father, he is he's on your side. Like, he thinks what you think. And I want to believe that. I just I just feel like every time the good people try to do something, the system, which is owned by the quote unquote bad people, shut them down. And I it gets to a point
Well,
where
they
it's like,
do.
what
You're
is
right.
war? You know what I mean? Like, at what point, like when I'm a slave to you and I have to pay you almost half of my wages, like, am I a citizen now or am I your slave? Like, it gets to a point where it's like, I feel like the only solution is, but anyway, I can't say that out loud. But the point is that it gets to a point where it's like, you've left me with no options because I feel like I have no power whatsoever. Even if I vote,
Well,
it
that's
won't
not true.
matter.
That's
Okay.
not true because you have just as much power, or I guess the opposing side has just as much power as the other side because the same tools are available to them. You just
But
have
what
to
if I
play the
tell you
game.
that both sides are the same side?
I don't believe that. That's
Okay.
another thing that there are a lot of people, and I'm not trying to discredit what you just said or your view, but that's kind of another
different argument.
Well, that's another ideology or viewpoint that right now some people hold on to, which is the uniparty, right? And the fact that like it makes no difference. So why even bother voting?
Yeah. And that's
That whole
totally different.
ideology.
Like, I'd have to convince you to believe that there is a uniparty. So I understand that. I'm not, we don't have to go to that.
Not to be too in depth because I don't want to be long winded, but I think it's a little more complicated than just a black and white statement like that. To an extent, there's a uniparty, but then at the same time, it makes a difference who you vote for or who ends up in office makes a difference because we've seen the results. I mean, look, AOC, for example, right, being voted in, as opposed to, let's say, Rudy Giuliani or Andrew Cuomo. There's a clear, distinct difference in what happens when these people are voted in. So, regardless of whether or not they're corrupt or they have tied-in interests, my votes, well, assuming, like, once again, that it's not rigged, because that's another theory that kind of shoots the whole thing out the
That's
window.
the theory that I hold, essentially. But continue.
Yeah, that it's rigged. But assuming that it's not rigged, I'm saying that whoever gets voted into office makes a difference. Because RFK becoming president is going to be a different result than obviously if Trump became president.
Yeah, RFK to me is a globalist pawn. I don't really look at him as anything other than that. I think what he realized is this: if I don't toe this line, then I'll be offed like my other relatives, and so that's where he is now. We don't need to get that deep into that stuff. That's a different conversation for a different time because it would take a good 2.5 hours to talk about all that stuff. You know what I mean?
But you hear what I'm saying, though, is that they're different, though.
No, I do. And to say I'm going to vote for Trump, like, regardless. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like a Trumper all the way. I personally, I somewhat feel
I hear
like
ya.
the whole, the whole convicting him of yada, yada, yada. I feel like that's a way to get people to vote for him. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like, but this at the same time, the things that Trump says, with one exception, which I can't say out loud on YouTube, I agree with. I agree with most of the things that he says and wants to do, ostensibly. But will he do them? I don't know. Exomoon says, every day Putin is dealing with the ghosts of the USSR corruption. Despite the USSR being defunct for 40 plus years, its damage is still being dealt with. Well, I mean, technically speaking, the USSR ended in 1989. So is it 40 plus at this point? 21 plus 20. Yeah, you're right. Wow. It seems like 30. I guess I'm a child of the 90s, so it seems to me like it's only 30. You're right.
It's about 35 years. 35.
Yeah. And, to say that, there's so many people who even today will post things like, Like Joe Biden and his incompetency has led the Soviet Union to become super powerful. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, Russia is not the Soviet Union anymore. First of all, they weren't the Soviet Union for their entire existence. And then for 70 years, the fucking Marxists took over and they were the Soviet Union. And then the Russian people, of their own accord, overthrew their own government and became, you know, what they are now, the Russian Federation. And so it's like the fact that Americans, like, I feel like Americans are obsessed with looking at Russia as the Soviet Union. I wrote a whole book about Russia in the Soviet Union, right? You guys are going to receive it in a month, but like, I don't look at Russia as the Soviet Union. They're not. They're Russia now. It's different.
The Ukraine war, the war going on with Ukraine, I think, is what's kind of motivating that that viewpoint.
Yeah.
Being popular again, because before that, I think Americans weren't even thinking about Russia.
No.
To be honest,
But the Americans are now being propagandized to think of Russia as the Soviet Union in order to support Ukraine, which in actuality, Ukraine has always been a part of Russia. The word Ukraine means the outskirts of what? Of Russia. They speak Russian. They have Russian culture. The fact of the matter is that Ukraine is part of Russia. And whether or not people like that, that's the way that it is. Just the same way that fucking Puerto Rico is part of America. Just the same way that fucking, New Mexico is part of America. This is the same situation that we've got here. And the worst part is that Ukraine, they won't talk about this in the mainstream media, but there are a ridiculous amount of fascists in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And so when the Russians say, because Russians hate fascism, they really do. Like they don't hate communism as much as they hate fascism, which maybe they should because they were the ones who went through communism. But they really fucking hate fascism. When I went over there, there is a word for Germans in Russian, and it's Nemets. So, the Russian, the German language, pan-Nemetsky, Russian people, Nemetsky. But
again, how am I the
first
suspect of being a Russian agent?
Wait a minute. We're going to get to you, Dr. Ben. We're going to get to you in just a second.
I want to know what he thinks.
The Russians call Germans Nemetsky, which in their language means smelly people. So that's already not a good starting point. But when I went over to Russia, I never heard the word Nemetsky. They never referred to Germans as Nemetsky. They referred to them as Faschistly. That's every time I heard them talking about Germans. They referred to them as fascists. That's how they're really upset about the whole thing. Real quick, before we grill Dr. Ben here, Exomoon says, every day Putin is dealing with the... we already said that. Always DTF says, at what point does corruption become business as usual? The 90s. Mr. Self-Destruct says, modern serfdom. Mr. Self-Destruct, I agree with you 100%. We live now in a neo... what is it? What's that word from the old times? You got the question. What'd you say?
Oh no, a serf state.
It's
serf state.
But serfs were part of a system of government known as, it's escaping my mind now because I've drunk 5 beers.
I don't remember. Yeah.
What is it called? Anyway, we'll get back to it. Mr. Self-Destruct, I agree with you.
Feudalism.
Feudalism. Thank you. That's what it is. We live in a version of modern, neo-feudalism, essentially.
Yeah.
Mr. Self-Destruct says, you got the touch, you have the power. What song is that from? Remind me, and I'll sing it. Always DTF says, fun fact, when the tiny hats were slaves in Egypt, they only paid 20% of their wages.
What's wrong with my hat?
Wait.
What
Are
are
you
they
saying
about my hat?
Are you saying the Egyptians only paid them 20% of their wages, or that when the tiny hats were slaves in Egypt, they only paid 20% of their wages? Examoon says RFK is controlled by the worms 100%. And the worms are not the ones in his brain. Always DTF says, got about 40 minutes left in my first ever double shift, and my second double shift is in the morning. And Lord, give me strength. Lord, give you strength, always DTF. Double shifts suck. How long is your double shift? 8 hours? Let me know. Mr. Self-Destruct again. Neo-feudalism. God damn, I love you, Mr. Self-Destruct. You're fucking on it, dude. You're always like, I like think of things, and Mr. Self-Destruct is like, this is what you're talking about, Patrick, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Amazing. So Dr. Ben spent a lot of time in Novosibirsk. Spent a lot of time in Stalingrad, Leningrad. Those are two different places. Mr. Always UTF says you're lucky. You're real lucky here. Always UTF says only 20% of wages were taxed.
All the rest.
Are you saying they had a 20% tax percentage? Am I stupid, guys? Explain to me.
All right.
Let me know.
All right.
20%
So Dr.
of
Ben,
wages and tax. That'd be a 20% tax. I think
that's better than what we've got.
Dr. Ben, now that you have insider knowledge,
yeah.
been there for a couple of
know?
months.
What do you want to know?
What's the story? What's the current situation? What's gonna happen? What are the plans? Between the East and the West.
Yeah, we gotta know.
It's important stuff.
Well, there's as always, like the left is all brewing, right? With all the, the current conflict, the as they're calling it, the genocide, right?
Right.
They're like
the Israel-Gaza war that's going on right now. You can say it. You can say it out loud.
So some of them
just don't say you're on the side of Israel, right? Or don't say you're on the side of Hamas, because then we'll get struck.
Yeah, maybe we should use code words for that particular topic.
Maybe we should use.
All right, so then for code words
Well, so
on this
anyway,
channel, then we'll use these terms. The I team is, we'll call them.
We could make them animals.
I don't like that, because that could be
why not
be construed.
That's like
as
what
racist.
they did with mouse. That's what they did with.
I agree, but you see, the rules don't apply equally across cultures.
If we were reading mouse,
once you'll get to understand it at one point. Once you realize that the rules are not equally applied, then you realize what you can and can't say. We'll call them the tassel folks. We got the tassel folks.
That's even worse than calling them an animal.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and call the other people the turban.
You decide,
folks.
Ben, you come up with a discriminatory, term.
I would go with the red team and the blue team.
There you go. That's
okay.
Blue team obviously has blue on their colors.
Yeah.
Red team has red on their colors.
Fair enough.
Blue team,
okay.
red team.
All right. Fair enough. Continue.
So, yeah, and I don't try to take. I don't try to take sides.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so there was, where Vancouver is in Canada.
Yeah.
They are remarking that they think Vancouver has become a hotbed of anti-Semitic bigotry.
Oh, that's so.
They had a comic convention up there, Vancouver Comics Arts Fest, and they banned a lady cartoonist from there because she had served years and years ago on she's on the blue team. She served on the blue team as a clerk or something, and she makes comic books.
Huh. Well, that's not fair.
And they banned her from the show because of that. They were like, "Well, you're with the blue team, so you are responsible for the blue team, for everything the blue team."
Well, as you know, the leftists right now, it's the hot thing for them to be is on that side, and so the virtue signaling.
That's what I'm saying. The problem is because, and I don't mean to talk over you, but that's what I'm saying. That's the whole crux of it, is that's the leftists, but Biden and everybody, all the politicians are all hard for the blue team. They're
it's kind of a weird
purple
situation.
for the red. That's what I'm saying. That is so. All the lefties, they're like the more entrenched ones, you know,
Mhm.
like the ones that have been in the game for a while, all banded together to stand up for Israel
Mm-hmm.
and
The blue
demand.
team, you mean?
My buddy Israel Van Norrington. He's a
Oh yeah. Oh, what a great guy.
oh, is he?
Great
Israel
singing
Van
voice.
Norrington.
Great
I don't know
singing
what
voice.
guy.
Van Norton.
Was it Roman Israel Esquire?
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic fella.
Sit
Met
down,
him one
have
time
a
in
cigarette,
Cabo.
So, go ahead.
So they were all like, this is horrible. This looks like you're being anti-blue team. You know,
Right.
you have literally banned her because of being on the blue team. So they all, but they're very, like, that's what I'm saying, is there was an article about it on a couple of different sites, on Comicsgate. I just saw there was one on Bleeding Fool, which is, I think, is Bleeding Fool's the one that's the guy that's with Mike Barron, I think, with his thing. You know how, like, Mike Barron, the writer.
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
Eisner Award winning.
I have fucking 40 of his comic books right down there. Punisher War Journal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, mine are right over there. Yeah. He had whatever with his what was it? Private American.
Yeah. I
The
got that right
websites.
over there.
Like one of the websites was like,
love Mike
it's
Barron.
a racist as fuck comic.
Yeah.
They got it kicked off Kickstarter, and there's a whole.
Yeah.
I think Bleeding Fool. I think the guy running Bleeding Fool is the guy that like was helping Mike Barron on they had like a literal like court case because you can't just say something's like evil and horrible and try to ruin someone's business, especially when it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying with this lady. I can bring it up if you want. I don't know if you want me to like share stuff. I got the computer thing. It's not.
So while you're doing that, let me just, while it's in my head, like the situation you're describing is a perfect example of exactly why liberalism only leads to destruction and chaos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because look at what's happening. You have liberals essentially siding with the red team, Palestine, right? And then the chants, I said this last week, the chants are going from free Palestine to death to America or death to Israel. And then also they're calling our current government, what is it? Murderers. They're calling it genocide. So basically, it's going to keep escalating to the point where they're complaining.
They're calling Joe Biden all this.
Yeah.
They're calling Joe Biden.
Yes, exactly.
Do you want to stick up for Joe Biden?
Yeah. No,
What?
I mean,
what?
No,
no.
What? Oh, Jesus,
No,
what
but let me
happened?
just finish. Let me just finish.
Let him finish what he's saying.
Let me just finish that point, though, which is when you choose a side just because of victimhood, right, and then start complaining against everyone around you, you end up villainizing everyone. So now they have nobody on their side. There's nobody that they're aligned with. They're against everything. They're against their own party. And ultimately, here's the irony. The people who they're rooting for are against them.
That is kind of funny.
Palestine, who they're rooting for, is actually against them. Talk about how demonic, how fucking ironic of a situation is that?
Carbon, you're right, but it's the same thing on the other side. If you look at the blue team, and I'm talking about very specifically the Z blue team. So all right, look. There are people who are Jewish, okay? And then there are people who are Zionist Jewish. Those people are not on your team. They are not on your side. They are not for America. Okay? So what we have here is a situation where both of these groups of people hate America and want to destroy it. And we have been convinced that we must root for one group or another. This is the same thing as the left versus the right. It's what I was saying earlier, that there is a uniparty. And the uniparty is in favor of one group of people. And if you talk out against those, this is the evidence that I know this. If you speak out against Palestinians, you are not silenced. If you speak out against other people, you are in fact silenced by the government, by the corporations, by other people. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that Hamas are the good guys. Fuck them. Fuck Islam. Okay? Let me make it very clear to everybody on the internets. Fuck Islam. You want to know why I say fuck Islam? Because I'm a Christian man, and Islam was inspired by a demon who visited Muhammad and told him fucking lies. Okay?
Oh.
I believe that 100%. Come and get me. I believe in the Second Amendment. Let's go. Right? I'm not a fan of Islam. At the same time, if you are to look at the same level of extremism on the other side of this issue, they will tell you that this person, my God, Jesus Christ, is burning and boiling excrement in hell. I don't trust those people either. They're not our allies. There are Christian Americans, and those are our allies, and nobody else is, because they don't believe what you believe, and they fucking hate you for what you believe. They will spit upon you. The Islam people, the Jewish people, they will spit upon you.
Pat, it's still important, though, to be diplomatic.
Well, yeah, but the amount of lies that have surrounded the whole situation.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
In the sense that I understand the battle that you're describing, and it's true. It does exist. I think it's still important to be diplomatic, have decorum, because we don't want to say an entire portion of the world should be killed.
I'm not saying that at all.
So, just as an example, in terms of language, we don't want to get to that point where it's like these people need to be condemned.
No,
that's not the case.
That's the beauty of Christianity. We don't believe that. We believe that you can have your opinions, and we don't want to have to kill you. That's what I'm saying. But the other sides, all of the other sides don't agree with that.
We shouldn't say fuck a whole country or fuck everybody who follows a certain religion. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Maybe I said that in a
No,
my point is that I don't care about those other countries like I care about America.
Yeah.
Like I'm not giving you money to go kill people in your war when I can barely make enough to pay fucking everything. Like I can barely pay the shit that I've got this comic book, I've got artists I've got to pay, and that is all of my money. Like that's it. I don't have any extra money. Liam was talking earlier about how he had to take, thousands of dollars out of savings. I was like, savings? What the fuck are those? I don't have those. And I've got a really good job. I get paid really well. So it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, I'm paying taxes.
The First National Bank of Australia.
Yeah.
He got his savings out.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I have no interest in using, because I go to work and I make my money and I work to make my money so I can feed myself and do things and pay other people to make comic books to draw comic books for me. And I have no interest in spending my money, which I'm forced to do, to give weapons to other people so they can kill other people that I've got no problem with. Like you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's the adult way to look at it. But the whole situation, and I'm following your lead here because I agree with you.
Go ahead.
I'm on the same viewpoint as you with this whole thing. And let's get down to the nitty gritty. And this, the funny thing is, this isn't even controversial. This all boils down to the country of Israel, right? Is in the middle of a hotbed.
Yeah.
Where everyone around them does not want them there. Let's be honest. It hasn't been working. It's leading. It's been war. Yeah, it's been war from the beginning, and it's getting other people in trouble as a result. It's fucking up the rest of the world. So here's the question, though. Right? What would happen if, hypothetically, the entire nation of Israel said, you know what? We're going to relocate. We're just going to leave. And they find, and this is hypothetical, not fantasy land, they find an island, a nice, beautiful island. That way it's appealing. And they go, you know what? We found this great island. There's no one on there. It's perfect. We're going to go there. This is now Israel. And we're gone. Goodbye.
Yeah.
What would happen then? That's my question.
Let me answer your question, but I want to read some of these comments first because I don't want to ignore people who are watching the show and commenting. Always DTF says only 20% of wages were taxed. That's a better tax wage than what we have now. He says 16 hours here at the hospital. I'm an X-ray tech, dude. You probably get paid pretty well. I hope, at least I hope you do. 16 hours is rough. I work at 11-hour shifts, so that's why. Like I had to. Sometimes I can get off early, especially on Saturdays. I try to get people to let me go or home early so I can prepare for Comicsgate Commandos. Tonight, that was not the situation. That's why I was late. But 16 hours, dude, that's no joke. Like that sucks. That's a real double shift right there. So thanks for listening, dude. I hope that you're enjoying this, that you're having a good time, at least by listening to this. At least before we were talking about war and death.
He knows all about.
He says, "Team no like bacon and team hats." Yeah.
Hats.
Mr. Exomoon says, "Whoops."
Hey, you know what Comicsgate actually is, right? A lot of people have said that Comicsgate is a hate group.
Oh actually,
they were adding on a letter. It's a hat group.
But we are a hate group. We hate bad art. Exomoon says the blue team trying to refill Roman era ley lines was a bad move that really offended the red team supporters. Let me think about this. The blue team trying to refill Roman era ley lines is a bad move. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Kamikaze, hey Cammy, how you doing? It's the first time you ever commented. I think you just get killed. She says, I know what you were talking about because I saw your comment when it occurred. I agree with you.
That's generally true. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Cammy. Mr. Self-Destruct says, U.S. taxpayer money isn't rooted into anything, really. More money is just minted and devalues our own currency, which is even worse. And then he says, they ain't relocating because their book says this land belongs to you. They just ignore the part where it says the land will vomit you out if you keep doing this shit. That is, I think, so that's kind of the opinion that I have. I come from and this is probably tiresome to some people who listen to this channel. That's where I come. I come from everything from a religious perspective because I believe that everything comes from a religious perspective. And you can say,
hold on.
Real quick, I just want to finish this point real quick, and then you can say what you're saying. I think that everything that you think comes from your religion, and you may call it your worldview, you may call it your opinion on life, you may call it whatever you want. You can say, like when atheists say, I don't have a religion, you're wrong. Your religion is atheism. That's your ideology. That's the way you think about things. And that is your quote unquote religion. Do you believe in a God? No, that's your religion. That's my point, is that your ideology is what it inspires the way you think about things. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, the hypothetical scenario I was saying before, I was driving towards a different point, which is if Israel were to leave, right, which is what the Muslim world wants, clearly. What do we think would happen in that region? Because let's say, they take over that land that currently is Israel. They're happy. What's going to happen 10, 20, 50 years down the line in that region? Is it going to be all sunshine and rainbows?
No, it's going to still be rape and murder and Islam.
No, or will another war emerge? That's my point. Another war will emerge in that region, even if Israel were to leave. It will no longer be the blue hat, the tiny hats versus the whatever. It'll be the smaller hats versus the bigger hats.
Yeah.
And it's a cultural thing because this part of the world, I mentioned this the other week, geographic determinism. It's in their culture still to be this way, to be, I don't want to be offensive, but tribal. It's essentially tribalism.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight each other, like same thing in Africa. Look, you have civil wars happening in Africa every 10 years that we don't even hear about. You want to know why? It's because it keeps on happening. It's no longer news.
Right. It's just
Same
the same
thing's going to
thing.
keep on happening in the Muslim world. That's my point.
I agree. I do agree with you, and I also think that whether or not any group goes in or out, or of the quote unquote Holy Land, I think there's something wrong. I think there's something serious, and this is like a very conspiratorial, not based on fact thing that I think. I think that there's something off with that area. Like, it's just soaked in blood, and it has always been soaked in blood, and people are always fighting wars on that area. And I just feel like there's something about that area of the world that's fucked up, and people should just I honestly think we should just literally glass the whole area, not the people in it. I'm just saying the whole area, just fucking glass it and leave it all alone for like 100, 200, at least 200 years. I feel like there's some evil that lives in the
Want
Fertile
to nuke
Crescent.
where Jesus was killed?
No, what I'm saying is, yes, exactly. I do. Yes,
that?
I think that if the people were removed, so there's no, innocent deaths of anybody. I'm not asking for the innocent deaths of people. What I'm asking for is to glass the entire Fertile Crescent, the entire area, so that like just nobody can live there for at least 100, 200 years.
Well, you're absolutely right.
The place is full of death and murder and blood, and I personally am sick of it. And I think there's something beyond the human understanding going on there that's fucked up that we need to just avoid. You can't fight it. You just need to avoid it.
I think we can understand it. I agree that we should glass it up and leave, but it's for a different reason. It's because the weather sucks. Nobody should live there.
I mean, I agree.
There was a comedian I heard recently who was like talking about Ethiopia, where it's like every Ethiopian is starving, and the region is like impossible to live in.
Yeah.
Why don't you just leave?
Yeah.
Why don't you just fucking leave and go where you can get some food? I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it's kind of true. It's like if everybody left, you'd be living better lives.
Yeah. It's almost like the earth, which is a creation of what I believe, God. It's almost like the earth is telling you, hey, this area is not really hospitable right now. Maybe you should go somewhere else.
It's pretty much true. Yeah.
But I think that humans have caused so much blood and death from the time of the Sumerians in that area that I think it's kind of cursed. I got to be honest with you folks. And you may look at me like, I mean, hopefully by now you look at me as like somebody who's at least slightly crazy, because, it's it'd be a compliment to me if you thought of me that way. But
it's interesting because those are the regions of the world that don't believe, predominantly, they don't believe in Jesus, right?
I know.
You think about it, the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Africa and the Middle East are, for the majority of them, they don't believe in Jesus, and look at the state that they're in. But at the same time, also look at the landscape that they're in.
Well, look at the state that Europe is in now, too. Now that Europe has essentially rejected Jesus, rejected Christianity, Europe is falling into the same thing, except for a few countries. Like Great Britain has a chance. I feel like Great Britain has a chance, but Great Britain has to come back to their original religion.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Anglicanism, because Anglicanism. I don't think. I don't know. I want it to happen.
Satanism.
But I feel like it's a little too far away at this point. I feel like Great Britain has let well, first of all, I think that Anglicanism softened their resolve, because Anglicanism at its core is a religion that literally revolves around the lust of a king. And that's really all it comes down to. You can argue with me with that if you want, but like what it comes down to is Henry VIII was a fucking piece of shit, and he made an entirely different religion because he was he was not happy with the Catholic Church. So that's my opinion. We can
Well, I
argue about
wouldn't
that if
call
you
it,
want.
not to, I don't want to try to debate
Go
you
ahead.
here, but technically it's
Go ahead.
not a completely different religion because technically Christianity stems from Catholicism.
It does.
It's all rooted. It's not a
It
different
does.
religion.
But the Anglican religion sees its religious authority in the king and not in the Pope.
Okay.
Now I'm not gonna say that the Pope Francis, as an example, is perfectly right about everything. I'm not gonna say that. All I'm saying is that it was a schism.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Obviously, there's a difference, but they're technically sects, and I'm not trying to get pedantic here, but they're subdivisions, they're sects under the Christian umbrella, because all of it is, at the end of the day, Christianity. Even Catholicism is Christianity.
Right. I love that how you say even Catholicism is Christianity. That's funny
Well,
to
no,
me because
I
I view Catholicism as the original Christianity. I know I love Protestants' views of Catholicism. It's hilarious.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying that because even though it predates the conception of the idea of Christianity as a religion, it is already Christianity. That's what I'm saying. Catholicism is already Christianity.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by that.
Okay. Real quick, all these DTF says makes me think of the final lines of standing here, staring across these barren, wasted land. I think new life can be born beneath the bloodstained sands. Yes. Yeah. And there's a line from Kashmir. Just listen, folks, if you have a chance, listen to Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. There's some lines in that are kind of what we're talking about here.
I love that song.
Cammy says, it's not just that. Our people didn't want to be ruled by the Pope, Roman Emperor, either. It was like the first Brexit. I understand that. I get that. That makes sense. But let's be honest, Cammy. There was no Anglican church the first time he got married. There was no Anglican church the second time he got married. There was no Anglican church the third time he got married. But the fourth time, this reminds me of Monty Python. They built a city here and it sank down into the swamp. The second time, they built a city and that sank down into the swamp. But the third time, it fell down, burned down, and sank down into the swamp. Anyway, I agree with you. I do agree with you. It is like the first Brexit. And I think Brexit in the modern day, the modern Brexit was actually super good for you guys. And I know, I factually know that it's super good for you guys because when I pay somebody on PayPal and I pay them European Union credits or whatever the fuck they're called, I don't even know what they're called. It is always a lesser rate than the dollar. But when I pay somebody in Britain, I get depressed because I see that the United States dollar is worth less than the pound, which I'm like, bravo to you guys for sure. But it's like a little upsetting to me because I'm an American and I want my country to be better than yours. Always DTF. Seeing how the current Pope is probably a good thing in the long run. Dude, yeah, he's a fucking Marxist. More than likely a Freemason plant. Like, fuck. Okay, I can't say that out loud because I do have parents and they don't want me to say that. But I don't trust Francis, okay? He's more than likely a Freemason. I know that he's a Marxist. The Cathars, Cammy says. In
Pound sterling.
What was I referencing when she said that? I don't even know.
We're
Pound
talking about
sterling,
the
says
original
Mr.
sects of-
Self-Destruct.
Well, as we know, Pat, the entire concept of sects and denominations occurring is something that Jesus even warned against because churches are not to be worshipped. Churches are not to be even completely 100%. I don't want to say trusted, but it's true because they're man-made. They're still run by men, and even denominations, all the like you said, Anglican, all these different denominations, they're created by men, and
well, that's why I can. I mean, whether or not the Catholics consider me a Catholic is one thing, but like the Catholic faith is not a religion of the book, and the book, the Bible, is something that man assembled and man put together. Catholic men, yes, for sure. And then at different times, Protestant men. But the fact of the matter is it's just a fucking book. Everybody's got a book. I worship a man. My religion is a religion of the man/God, Jesus Christ. And sometimes you have to go outside of the book to be able to use logic and reason to understand what Jesus Christ meant when he said what he said. That's where I fall, I guess.
And I think that's reasonable.
Always DTF says, hold up. Poke McWorship Malak is a plant by Freemason. I know, shocking, right? Cammy says, that's what I mean. Okay, cool.
Like
Mr. Selfstruck says, didn't Jesus say you will not find me in buildings of wood and stone? Exactly. It's not about the building. It's about the man God. It's about the man God. So look, folks. Does anybody else? I mean, I'm gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. I'm gonna pull a Johnny. And say we're gonna wind down here, and by wind down I mean end it immediately. So
it's getting late.
Does anybody else have anything to say? Like we can continue the conversation, but just one more point from each person. So I'll start with Carbon since he was here first. Carbon, do you have anything you'd like to? Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a good point to kind of congrue on. We're especially about the whole topic of the Middle East and the region, and the religions and the sects. No, I mean, great show tonight. That was a good interview with Liam.
Yeah, he stayed longer than I thought he would, so it's really great.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. We got a bigger audience, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we've got 7 folks watching us right now. 7 people. Like, we've never had more than like 5. So thank you guys so much for watching us. 7 people. I'd also like to note that 7 is the number of perfection, biblically speaking. So can't argue with that.
It was higher before, too.
Yeah. If you guys, Dr. Ben, I'm going to let you say something too, but real quick, if you could give us a like, give us a share, if you'd like to make a comment, even if your comment is something like, hey, PQ, you should go fuck yourself, you papal idol worshiping piece of shit. Like, please make that comment. I would, it helps. So anyway, Carbon, is that all you wanted to say, or did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Yeah. So overall, good stuff.
Cool. Dr. Ben, Mr. Dr. Ben, whose court martial has been delayed until next week. What would you like to say?
Subscribed over to my my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if this. I think this is how. I think I can just put it in the thing. I believe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it and find out.
You are a administrator,
Find
aren't
out.
you? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Dr. Ben, it's always good to see you. And let me just say, Dr. Ben, we'd like to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's, I had a bunch of stuff. I did have a bunch of stuff going on, this, that, other things and whatnot, working on, doing all my shit.
God, this and that. It must be harrowing.
It's a lot to deal with. I cover some of it on my YouTube. There's links to my Substack, drben.substack.com. Free comics I put on there.
Ladies and gentlemen, follow Dr. Ben on YouTube there. He put the link in the chat there if you can take a look at that. Also, please follow Liam Gray. Please, if you have not backed Dino King already, I would recommend you back it. I already talked about my review on it. I had, some issues with the second half of the dialogue, which, it's not really appropriate to bring that up when you have a guest on. You don't want to shit on your guest while he's on your channel, which is not, it wouldn't even really be shitting on him. It's not even really shitting on him. It was just some minor. Thank you, Mr. Self-Destruct, for sharing his stuff. I really, really appreciate that.
Man, he
Please
fucking
go back,
sucks.
Dino King, second chance. Because the fact of the matter is that you're not going to get another chance. Like, this is the second chance, and you're not going to get another one. He wasn't even planning on doing a second chance until Ethan kind of convinced him to do one. So,
Right.
it's a very worthwhile comic book banger, as he says. So go back that, please. Thank you, Carbon and Dr. Ben, for coming on here. Cammy says, bye. At least I think that's how she said it. Always do TF says, okay, bye-bye. P.S. You earned a sub for me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much. And I'm glad that we could entertain you enough to earn that. Oh, you're talking from you? Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. Hail chat. This is Carbon right here. All right, guys. Everybody who's watching, the 5 people who are still watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. God bless. Also, fuck the federal government. And I hope you guys have a great night. And the one thing, though, I wanted to say before we go out is...
Feel